Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. In this tutorial I will show you how to use the cloth brush. As shown here, it's activated, highlighted in blue. So let me alter the geometry of some vertices over here, also like this. So let me use a snake hook brush over here, for example. Hold and drag like this. Also inflate, I'm gonna use also the inflate brush over here to alter geometry and to see the effect clearly of the cloth brush. Scroll down, search for the cloth brush. We have the radius of the brush, the effect and the strength. Also, let me define what can this brush do. The cloth brush uses simplified cloth solver to simulate cloth physics on the mesh under the brush, so masked vertices are pinned in the simulation, and it applies the sculpt gravity directly in the solver. Note, using a relatively small brush makes the solver's calculations much faster. Larger brush sizes might be too slow to get usable brush. So let's go over here and try to apply this brush, for example, like this. Then let's apply it on this region. Also, let's apply it on this region by holding and drag. Clearly, you can see the effect of the cloth simulation. So concerning the brush settings over here, click on the brush at the top of this panel. We have a lot of features in this panel for brush settings concerning persistent. So let's go over here. Persistent, when enabling it, allows the cloth brush to not accumulate deformation after each stroke. This is convenient also to always simulate the based on the same initial shape but applying different forces to it. So go back to apply, for example, on this region. Let's go back to brush settings on this panel. So what about the other features like set persistent base? This feature resets the base mesh so that you can add another layer of deformations. And that's it. So let's apply this over here. You can try and apply the effect like this. We have simulation area. Go over here to brush settings. So what about the simulation area? Go over here. We have this option. This allows you to select the part of the mesh that is going to be simulated when the stroke is active, as shown here. We have other different options. This can greatly affect performance depending on the complexity of the mesh, as shown here. You can change between different choices. So let me go back to undo, Ctrl Z, Ctrl Z, Ctrl Z, Ctrl Z to undo all the previous effects applied on this mesh. Concerning simulation area, select the part of a mesh, and that's not very clearly applied over there. We have a local also for the simulation area options. Local simulates all a specific area around the brush limited by a fixed radius. Let's go back also to apply the action, apply the effect. You can see this result clearly. For the global option here in the simulation area feature, also go over here to apply it on this region. You can see the effect clearly over here, and you can distinguish between the different effects for local and global. Concerning the global option in the brush settings over here, this section and this choice simulates the entire mesh. Also for dynamic, so let's set it to dynamic. Dynamic is the active simulation area moves with the brush while still being limited by fixed radius. So let's apply it over here. You can see the effect clearly. And also let's apply effect on this region. Go back to other features to see other settings. Simulation limit. What about this factor? The factor added related to the size of the radius to limit cloth simulation effects. Also we have here simulation fall of the area to apply deformation fall off to the effects of the simulation. This setting is a factor of simulation limit and is shown as dashed line around the cursor. And that's it, it's a dashed line, it's clearly to apply the effect that I'm talking about. So concerning the pin simulation boundary, let's continue explaining the deformation. We have different options: drag, push, inflate, grab, and many other features. Also this allows you to set a type of cloth deformation that is used by the brush. We have drag. When setting the drag simulates pulling the cloth to the cursor, similar to the placing a finger on a table cloth and pulling. So let's go back to see it again over this region. When holding in the drag, you can see effect. Also for the push, go back to brush settings, and deformation. Concerning this second option for this feature, we have push. Push is like this. As you can see here, we have the effect, it's curly, not like this effect that is a drag. So for the pinch point, let me apply it on this location to see clearly the effect for different features. Here we have the push, then go back to pinch point. What that means? This feature simulates putting the cloth into a point. So after enabling it, go back to see to apply it on this location, for example. And you can see effect clearly over there. And here is the effect. So Shift Z to go back to compare, Ctrl Z to compare the other effects. And that's good until now. Here we have also the other features concerning simulation, concerning the deformation. So let's go back to apply this feature. Let's enable it now, pinch perpendicular. Concerning the pinch perpendicular, this option simulates pulling the brush into a line. Enable it. go back and apply it like this. As you can see here, we have the effects. Then go back also to try other effects like inflate option, for example. So let's apply it over here, and you can see the effect clearly, just like doing and like creating inflation on the surface. For the grabber brush, so for this time we have inflate, we have a grab option. Go back to enable it. So let's turn this to see effect, and here is the effect. This is the grab for this cloth brush. Also we have another effect, which is expand option. The expand option is like this. Hold on the drag your mouse cursor or your pen, your tablet pen. Also you see this effect. For the other effects here, we have snake hook. So let me show you also the more detail concerning this feature. Hold on the drag. So for this snake hook brush, the snake hook option, this simulates moving the cloth without producing any artifacts in the surface and creates more natural looking folds than any of the other deformation modes. This is accomplished by adjusting the strength of the deformation constraints per brush step to avoid affecting the results of the simulation as much as possible. You can try it to see the effect clearly. So let's go ahead to see the other features like the force fall off. Here we have the force fall off feature. Shape used in the brush to apply force to the cloth. We have these two options like radial and plane. Let's set it to radial. This applies the force as a sphere. So let's go back to apply it. It's not working because it's set to snake hook feature. So let's make it a drag and go back. You can see the effect clearly because applies the force as a sphere, but for a plane applies the force as a plane. Let's go back over here to set the force fall off again to plane. So let's try it on this location, and that's clear. We have created this force field and for a plane, and this applies the force as a plane, as you can see, not as for radial force fall off. The cloth mass. Let's go back to see what that means, cloth mass. Concerning the cloth mass, the mass of each simulation particle, you can increase it and decrease it. Also for cloth damping, this factor over here, cloth damping, how much the applied forces are propagated through the cloth, and that's clear. Also you can decrease and increase it to see the effect clearly. Try it by yourself. We have also soft body plasticity. What can that factor do? The amount the cloth preserves its original shape, acting as a soft body. You can increase it again and try the effect. try the effect clearly to see if it interacts, acting like a soft body or no. So concerning in this panel, for example, use collisions. You can also enable collisions to use collisions collide with objects during simulation. Finally, thanks for watching. See you in the next tutorial.